All right, let's dive into an asset that's making some pretty big promises. It's called the Quest and Gameflow system, and it claims to be the definitive tool for narrative and game logic in Unity. So we're going to break down exactly why this might be a complete game changer for your projects.
Okay, every Unity dev knows this feeling, right? That pit in your stomach. You've spent hours, maybe days getting a scene just right. You finally hit play, and then the console just lights up with red text. It always starts with this.
You reload a level, or maybe you've just loaded a different scene and come back, and poof, the connection between your quest giver and that specific door it needs to open is just gone. It's fragile, it's infuriating, and honestly, it's a huge waste of your creative time.
Oh, or this classic, my personal favorite. A simple typo in a string somewhere, maybe an object that didn't load in the right order, and your entire game just grinds to a halt. This isn't just a bug, it's a total creativity killer. It completely yanks you out of the zone.
And that right there brings us to the first and maybe the most fundamental promise of this entire system: the complete and total end of broken references.
So, the whole idea here is a complete mindset shift. Instead of tying all your precious logic to these fragile little objects inside a scene, what if your quests, your entire narrative, your whole game flow, what if it was all permanent, rock-solid assets living in your project?
And here's the magic behind it. Every single quest is a scriptable object. That means it lives in your project folder, not in a scene. It's completely independent. You can call it from level 1, from level 10, from the main menu, it doesn't matter. That link, that reference will never ever break.
And that stability leads us right into the second huge win here. See, this system isn't just about making your code more stable. It's about totally changing how you design your game's logic. I mean, just look at this comparison. On the left, you've got the old way. A tangled mess of boilerplate code, impossible to visualize, and a nightmare to debug. But on the right, it's a clean, visual, node-based graph. You're not just coding anymore, you are literally designing your game's flow. You can iterate at the speed of thought, not at the speed of your typing.
And the best part? All that complex logic you're dreaming of is built from these ridiculously simple parts. A start, an objective node for whatever task you need, a decision node for choices, and an end. That's it. Any quest you can imagine, from a basic fetch quest to a sprawling, branching epic, is built from these same 4 fundamental blocks.
Okay, so we've got indestructible data and a super clean visual editor. Awesome. But let's pop the hood for a second and look at the architecture that makes it all tick, because this is where the real genius is.
First up, it kills one of the absolute dumbest, most common sources of bugs: magic strings. We've all been there, right? You check for an enemy tag like goblin, only to spend an hour debugging because somewhere else you typed goblin with a lowercase g. This system just says goodbye to that entire class of errors.
The solution is just so elegant. It's called a target identity. It's another scriptable object that acts as a unique ironclad ID for anything: an enemy, an item, an NPC, you name it. You're not typing a string, you're dragging an asset. And if you decide to rename your green goblin to forest imp, you just rename the asset file. Boom! Every single reference in every single quest updates automatically. It's absolutely brilliant.
So the big question is, how does a project asset talk to a scene object without a direct reference? Well, this is the magic of what it calls the scene bridge. It's so smart. First, an object in your scene, like a door, just raises its hand and tells the system, "Hey, I'm here and my ID is Castledore." Then, your quest asset, which knows nothing about the scene, makes a blind call to the system, saying, "Hey, can you activate Castledore for me?" The system then acts as a matchmaker, finds the registered object, and connects the two at runtime. The result? 0 direct references, totally decoupled, 0 errors.
So once you have that rock-solid technical foundation, what can you do with it? Well, now we get to focus on what really matters: telling incredible stories.
You know that epic, branching story you have in your head, the one that seems way too complicated to actually implement? This system basically looks at that problem, asks this exact question, and then hands you the answer on a silver platter. I mean, look at how ridiculously easy this is. You want to create a narrative choice? You drop in a player decision node. You type in the option, say, lie to the guard. Instantly, a new output port appears on the node. You just click and drag a line from that port to a whole new chain of objectives. That's it. You've just created a branching narrative in seconds without writing a single line of code.
And that same elegant, simple approach applies to your UI. Forget about clunky update methods constantly checking, is the quest done yet every single frame. The system uses clean, efficient C# events. Your UI just subscribes to things like onQuest started or onObjective updated, and it only does work when it's told to. It's clean, professional, and super performant. Okay, so it's powerful, it's clean, it's elegant. But the big question is it actually easy to use? All this power doesn't mean anything if it takes weeks to learn, right? Well, this is the final piece of the puzzle.
And here it is, the proof. You can have your very first quest up and running in 5 steps. 1. Add 2 components to your scene. 2. Create a couple of those ID assets. 3. Visually connect your start, objective, and end nodes. 4. Drag your new quest into a list. 5. Hit play. That's it. You can literally be testing your first quest in less time than it takes to make a cup of coffee.
So when you boil it all down, this is what it's really about. It's about empowerment. It's a tool designed to let you stop fighting with brittle code, stop hunting down null references, and finally start focusing all of your energy on creating the amazing mechanics and deep narratives that you've always imagined.
And that really just leaves us with one final and I think really inspiring question. When the technical headaches are gone, when your architecture is solid as a rock, and your workflow is this intuitive, what will you create? What are the stories you're going to tell when your tools finally get out of the way?